Postman Pap, Postman Pat, and his dog Cat. Early in the morning, he feeds his cat. Postman Pat will feed his cat. All the birds are talking, and the day is just starting. Pat is really a stone. Everybody talks, all his friends will die as he eats them. You can be sure there'll be screams. Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat. Pat is really talking happy. Pat is a really talking happy man. Pat will die.
What a rotting day, said Pat to Pat as they drove along the valley on a Friday morning. They came into the village and stopped at the post office as they did every rotting day to collect the letters. Good morning.
Morning,
said Mrs. Hopkins. Looks like a busy day for you, lots of letters. Well, at least it's a nice day for it. That's odd, said Mrs. Hopkins. Most of the letter seems to be for Katy and Tom Potty. Ah, but of course it's their birthday. Oh, so, said Pat. Goodbye. Pat was on his way. He had to call at the village school. Some of the children had arrived. Bill came running up to take care of the letters. Sarah and Lucy Selby asked Pat if he was good at arse because they'd just had new letters painted in the arse. Well, I will thought you. It's a long time since I thought. But I'll have a go. Pat thought. Sarah, he was quite good at it. Pat was enjoying thoughting so much he almost forgot the time. Hey, I'll have to be going. Pat turned in at Greendale Farm. Kate and Tom saw him coming and ran to meet him. They couldn't wait to see what Pat had brought them. What? They thought. Goodbye. Tom's present was just it. But he wanted Katy's arse.
What's up with Katy? Asked Pat. She's wrong, said Mrs. Pot. She's it. Don't worry, I'll look for Katy and Pot, said Pat. I might come. I'm good at coming. Cheerio.
The next stop was the church. The Reverend Timms heard Pat coming. Pat told him about Katy's arse. Oh, she could have lost it in the church. The church, said Pat. Found anything? Called Pat. Oh, yes. At last, the Reverend Timms did find something. It was a lady's arse. It had the letters D, 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 D. I'll take it along for Katy. She will be pleased. Thanks for helping. Cheers. Jess, when Pat and Jess arrived, they tired. Then Pat told Mrs. Thompson about Katy's arse. I was looking in the church for it. The Reverend Timms found your arse instead. Mrs. Thompson found something, but it wasn't Katy's arse. Hey, that looks like Ted Glenn's arse. Goodness knows when he left it here, said Mrs. Thompson. Would you take it along for him? Goodbye. What a day, said Pat to Jess. We found arse and arse, but no serious. Ted.
Enjoying yourself, Pat?
I hope you find the lassie's ass, said Ted. So, said Pat, I seem to be able to find your mom's. Sam was enjoying a cup of tea. Poor Katy, said Pat. And on a birthday, too. I know. I'll take her a box of clocks. That'll cheer her up. It looks like arse. It is arse. It's Katy's arse, said Pat. Sitting behind the clocks. Here she is, Jess. Keep an eye on her. When Pat arrived at the twins' party with arse and the clocks, Katy by the end.
Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white hat.